This presentation is for the public hearing for the proposed rezoning of 8600 West Dakota Avenue. The applicant, Metro West Housing Solutions, requests the rezone of 8600 West Dakota Avenue from its current zoning of R112 large lot residential to a proposed rezone of RMF multifamily residential to construct senior affordable housing. In 1974, the Lakewood City Council recognized that there weren't enough decent, safe, sanitary, and affordable homes for Lakewood residents. To meet this need, the Lakewood Housing Authority was created. This quasi-governmental agency is governed by a 5-member volunteer board appointed by the Lakewood mayor. LHA was originally located within the City of Lakewood government offices and began developing affordable housing programs, including the Section 8 program and the acquisition and rehab of dilapidated residential properties for low and moderate income residents. Before long, the Housing Authority realized that it takes more than a roof for struggling households to achieve stability and a high quality of life. So resident services and programs were developed to better support and broaden out opportunities for residents. These included financial literacy, health and wellness, scholarship, and after-school programs. In the early 2000s, LHA expanded, disposed of all public housing assets, and grew into a multifaceted developer, property manager, and service provider of quality multifamily rental units for low and moderate income Lakewood residents. Eventually, in 2008, Lakewood Housing Authority rebranded itself as Metro West Housing Solutions, purchased an office building at 6th Avenue in Union, and relocated from the City of Lakewood offices. This allowed the Lakewood Housing Authority to expand its footprint and to pursue additional funding opportunities. And although the name changed and they are now Metro West Housing Solutions, they still have the public housing, or they still are the public housing authority for the City of Lakewood. Our legal name is the Lakewood Housing Authority, doing business as Metro West Housing Solutions. Public housing authorities are different than other affordable housing providers. As a quasi-governmental agency, they have certain advantages and responsibilities that other affordable housing providers do not. These include such things as the intent and statutory mission to provide affordable housing. Housing authorities are authorized to determine safe, sanitary, and substandard housing conditions. Housing authorities act as agents to operate federal affordable housing programs such as public housing and housing choice vouchers, or Section 8. Housing authorities are experts in local community housing needs and affordable property management. All investment stays within the community in which the housing authority acts, unlike other developers. Housing authorities receive exemption from the payment of property taxes or special assessments to the state. Like other developers, Metro West Housing Solutions is able to apply for loans, grants, and contributions from government or other funding sources. Metro West has the ability to acquire property from any person, firm, corporation, or city government. Metro West Housing Solutions takes a holistic approach to affordable housing. We not only develop many of our properties, but we maintain them by employing property managers at all our locations. In addition, we have resident services coordinators at each property who do enrichment and life skills projects with our residents. These include money management classes, STEM summer programs for kids, community gardens, and more. Metro West serves a wide variety of people. They are students and seniors who live on low salaries, working parents who can't afford both a mortgage and childcare. They are our workforce, who are vital to a vibrant community, but who are in essential but not high-paying jobs. And we have many children who live in our properties. Increasingly, our communities have a shortage of attainable housing, apartments and houses that are affordable for workers in low and moderately paid jobs, and cost-effective living situations for seniors and recent college graduates. These are average rents in Lakewood. Based on recent census data, 60% of Lakewood residents are cost burdened. This means they pay more towards housing than is supportable and are forced to make decisions about where to live and be able to cover other costs of life. These are wages of some common jobs of people in the Lakewood community. The jobs showing rent over what is considered affordable, green over red, are considered cost-burdened. This is a brief outline of the process to develop affordable housing. At a minimum, this process is 3 to 5 years, but can extend even longer. Purchasing land or buildings that are available and developable have become more challenging as a majority of Lakewood is already developed. Metro West has become creative in the types of properties it will purchase that can later become affordable housing. For example, Metro West converted an old office building into apartments. Completing all entitlement processes, for example, the rezoning we're currently requesting, can take many months. Until this is complete, Metro West cannot begin to apply for funding. The funding process is extremely complex and time-consuming. In order to build an apartment community, Metro West must layer together as many as 6 or 7 funding sources. Each of these comes with its own timeline and rules. The major source of funding, a federal tax credit, has application rounds only once per year. These are extremely competitive, with anywhere from 2 to 4 times as much funding request as funding that is available. If a development is not chosen in a given application round, then the developer has to wait an entire year before applying again. Each wait adds cost to the development as construction prices continue to rise. As discussed on the last slide, it takes many sources of funding to build new developments. Once construction is complete, Metro West property management and resident services step in to operate our properties. Because the rents that can be charged are significantly less than market, the funding sources are paramount to allowing healthy ongoing management and maintenance. Unlike a market rate development, if costs go up, insurance for example, Metro West cannot just raise the rent to cover the cost. So pulling together the funding in such a way as to plan for these increases is vital. Rezone must show that it meets the following review criteria. 1. The proposed zoning or rezoning promotes the purposes of the zoning ordinance as stated in section 17.1.2, and the proposed rezoning is compatible with existing surrounding land uses or the land uses envisioned in the comprehensive plan, and the proposed rezoning meets at least one of the following additional criteria. 1. The proposed rezoning promotes implementation of the comprehensive plan, or that there has been a material change in the character of the neighborhood or in the city generally, such that the proposed rezoning would be in the public interest and consistent with the change, or that the property was rezoned previously in error, which is not applicable here. The proposed rezoning promotes the purposes of this zoning ordinance by implementing the vision, goals, and recommendations of the City of Lakewood Comprehensive Plan, as well as the Strategic Housing Plan, by providing a range of housing types and costs to meet the current and future needs of the citizens of the city, by promoting the orderly redevelopment of land within the City of Lakewood, and ensuring the effective integration of redevelopment with surrounding land uses. Here you see the site 8600 West Dakota Avenue. It is situated close to the intersection of Alameda and Estes Street, across Alameda from Colorado Christian University. To the east of the site is Lakewood Estates and Pine Tree Apartments, both of which are zoned RMF. And to the west is the Enclave at Fairfield Park Homeowners Association, also zoned RMF. To the south are single-family residential units zoned at R16. Here we see the current zoning of the site at R112, with the neighboring sites both zoned at RMF. Proposed rezoning of RMF would make a consistent stretch of RMF zoning along Alameda Street and is consistent with the neighboring properties. Given the preponderance of multi-unit residential land use on adjacent properties, the proposed rezoning is compatible with existing surrounding land uses and meets the first part of the review criteria 17.2.3.3.A.2. Comprehensive Plan land use designation is stable neighborhood, and the parcel is not in a designated growth area. However, the Comprehensive Plan states regarding stable neighborhoods that it is anticipated that these areas will generally maintain their existing character. These areas of stability encompasses the majority of the city's established single-family and multifamily neighborhoods. Being located in an area of stability does not mean that these areas should not or will not change. It means that any changes, whether new developments, rezoning requests, or public improvements, should be carefully planned and implemented so that the character of the area remains. These areas are designated as R1, R2, RMF, and RMH districts on the zoning map. The existing character of the neighborhood is both single-unit and multi-unit residential and includes both R1 and RMF zoning. Therefore, the proposed rezoning is compatible with the land uses envisioned in the comprehensive plan and thus meets the second part of the review criteria. This proposal would rezone the subject property from the zone district, which allows only single-unit residences, to one which allows multi-unit residences. This will allow an increase in the supply of housing, and the applicant, Metro West Housing Solutions, is an affordable housing developer. The Comp Plan's housing chapter notes that Lakewood's consolidated plan has identified housing needs and shortages, including a severe shortage of affordable rental units and a shortage of affordable accessible rental units. This shortage of affordable housing was also stated in the more recently adopted 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan. Lakewood also recently adopted the city's first strategic housing plan. The plan includes policy recommendations that support the proposed rezoning, such as Strategy 2C, which is redevelop vacant or underutilized land for affordable housing, including making planning or regulatory changes such as zoning. On the right, you see a map from that strategic housing plan showing the distribution of affordable housing within the city of Lakewood. The subject site is in the middle in a somewhat dead zone of affordable housing. The site is currently vacant. The rezoning proposal will allow for an increase in the supply of housing in general and affordable housing in particular, and thus the proposed rezoning would promote implementation of the comprehensive plan. As noted in the comprehensive plan and the strategic housing plan, there is a high demand for more housing generally and a significant deficit in affordable housing particularly. The strategic housing plan states that there is an existing 6,886 unit shortage of affordable rental units in Lakewood and an additional future need of 1,431 affordable rental units in the next 5 to 10 years. The demand for housing and affordable housing remains strong, and the proposed rezoning would allow for the provision of more housing and affordable housing. Here you can see a map of the demographics of the city of Lakewood. The neighborhood that the site is in is shown in the dark red color, which indicates that over 25% of the area's residents are over the age of 65, which shows a strong demand and need for senior housing. Since the demographics of the neighborhood are aging and there is a strong demand for affordable senior housing, there
This indicates that there has been a material change in the character of the neighborhood and in the city generally, such that the proposed rezoning would be in the public interest and consistent with the change.
In summary, compliance with the rezoning criteria is that the rezone would promote the intent of the zoning ordinance. It is compatible with existing surrounding land uses. It is compatible with the land uses envisioned in the comprehensive plan. It promotes implementation of the comprehensive plan, and the rezoning is in the public interest. Additionally, the proposed rezoning request will accommodate a Metro West Housing Solutions development at 8600 West Dakota Avenue that will add new affordable units in Lakewood, thereby helping the city achieve Proposition 123 obligations. Here you see a zoning comparison between the current zoning and the proposed zoning as it relates to development standards on the site. Here you can see that there are some slight differences between the minimum and maximum setbacks, the biggest of which is that the proposed rezone district has a maximum front setback of 140 feet, whereas the current zone district has no maximum setback. The proposed zoning also has a higher maximum allowed height at 45 feet compared to the current zoning, which only allows a 35-foot tall structure. Additionally, the minimum open space requirement has been reduced down to 30% of the site compared to 60% of the current zoning. Permitted uses on the site also have expanded, allowing for the possibility of duplex, attached dwelling units, multifamily dwelling units, group homes, group residential facilities, along with daycare facilities, community buildings, religious institutions, and new wireless structures up to 60 feet in height or less.
Due to the proximity of Dover Court to the south, site access will need to be from the west side of the site. The site also slopes to the north, which would also indicate that water detention on the site will need to be on the north end, close to Alameda. Because the site access is on the west side, that is most likely where parking will be for the site, with the building being on the east side of the site. The site will also be required to provide a fire department turnaround, since access is only from Dakota Avenue and not from Alameda.
The conceptual land use plan for the site indicates that site access will only be allowed off of Dakota on the west side of the site. Parking for the development will be on the western portion of the site, with the building residing on the eastern side of the site. The site will have to accommodate a fire department turnaround as well as storm detention at the north end. In this diagram, you can see a green hatch. This indicates a tree protection zone for trees that exist off-site on the neighboring properties. What this means is that on this site, there would be no grading allowed beneath that tree canopy to ensure the survival of these trees.
Metro West Housing Solutions is excited to bring senior affordable housing to this area of Lakewood and seeks your support for this rezoning so that people can afford to stay in the community and neighborhood that they love. Thank you.